The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 203K in a Box FHA Consultant Training and Marketing System Informational Webinar, FAQ on 203K. This is your host, Catherine Hall, creator of the 203K in a Box system, and I'm so happy to have you all on the call tonight. Before we actually get started, we're about a minute ahead of the top of the hour, and before we actually start, I just want to do a few housekeeping items. First of all, because we have a full house tonight, we are not going to be able to allow questions during the course of the webinar. Otherwise, we'll not be able to make our promised 1-hour time slot. So that being the case, please do type your questions in the chat box, and I will be sending out an email at the conclusion of this webinar, probably tomorrow or the day after, with answers to all those questions that are asked tonight. Additionally, we are recording this video, this webinar, and so what that means is with this being a recorded webinar, you will be able to have access to this as well. So let's begin. We actually are going to be starting in just a second. I want to thank everyone again for being on the call tonight. Welcome to the world of 203K. So now what I want to share with you is the world of FHA 203K consulting, and as you can see here, the missing piece of your home inspection success puzzle. The first thing that I want to do today on this webinar is I want to talk to you a little bit about who I am and why you should listen to me. What makes me someone who you should talk to or take as an authority on the subject. I met many of you at recent events that I actually have been participating at and enjoyed meeting many of you, but time was very limited as far as how much I could share with information. So just to give you a little bit of an idea of who I am, I've actually, and actually the slide to your left is actually needed to be updated. I actually have been, my company is now 21 years. As of June of this year, we will have been in business 21 years. We celebrate our 20th year last year. I have performed, I'd say about 3,500 home inspections, and I've been a 203K consultant for 15 years, not 10. As you can see, I have a large teaching credentials and background, but basically my first and foremost love is and has been for many years the world of FHA 203K consulting. But like everybody, I didn't wake up and automatically when I was a little girl being a home inspector or a 203K consultant. And as you can see, I was a fruffy little girl who played with dolls and had squirrel slippers. That was Chip and Dale. They were my favorites. So I had Chip and Dale slippers when I was a little girl. And despite the belief that you may now know today, where you've only seen me probably wherever I've been photographed or on an event in red, I actually did wear other colors a long time ago. So this actually was taken in Disneyland back in and I won't say what year. Modesty prohibits that. So I just want to say I didn't wake up as being the queen of 203K, but as I found, I actually ended up being a mayor for a week. So my aspirations when I were younger was to pursue a political career, actually performance. I actually wanted to be a performer. I went to a performing high school. I went to a performing junior high and elementary school, and I thought that I was going to make it in the world of performing arts. Actually, I do have a career in the world of performing arts because for any of you who are like me, long experienced home inspectors and 203K consultants, you have to perform every time you go out and do an inspection. You have to motivate, educate, inform, inspire, and that's all the things that a performer does on a stage or in front of any audience. So I actually have been working in that capacity for quite some time. What I want to do today in my attempt to help you understand what is a 203K consultant and why you should consider becoming a 203K consultant is I want to make a comparison or give you a side-by-side look at the differences between a home inspector and a 203K consultant and answer that big question, why should I worry about becoming a 203K consultant? Well, first of all, as you can see, as a home inspector, you are basically just another egg in the dozen. We are a dime a dozen, as they say. As you know, real estate agents give us very little respect. I know many of us have great relationships with a lot of real estate professionals, and that's absolutely wonderful. But there's other home inspectors out there. There are a lot of home inspectors out there. And that being the case, we have a situation where we have a lot of competition, and we're viewed as, just another home inspector, and there's plenty of them out there. So if we don't get what we want from the one, we'll go to another. Competition is incredibly intense. The demands of the marketplace for home inspectors usually dictate that we actually have to be very sensitive to the needs of the real estate agent and the seller, and we have to deal with a lot of issues that really shouldn't be if we were going to be purist in our industry. The risks of a home inspector are very high. You have to worry about being sued. I don't know about many of you, but recent weather storms and conditions usually make our phones ring. And if you've been a home inspector for any length of time, you know that any major storm or weather problem usually dictates a telephone call to you to answer the question, why is your roof leaking, or why is my basement flooding? And of course it's your fault because you did do that inspection 4 years ago, so you should know better. And then the thing that is most frustrating, I think, for home inspectors, and for many of you professional businessmen and women, you understand the importance of marketing on the merits of your service and not on the prices, but we all are faced in many times with someone coming up to the question of, well, this other company charges this much, why can't you charge that too? Or having a real estate agent say, well, can't you come down on your price because this client doesn't have a whole lot of money and this is going to be a hardship for them. We've all heard this. And so the fee wars, the competition, having to lose an order because somebody else down the block is going to do it, at least try to do it, for $200 or whatever is considered half of what your normal price is. These are the things we have to put up with as home inspectors on a daily basis. Having to market to real estate agents so continually and aggressively and consistently to keep that competitor, that other egg in the basket, from coming up and taking your business from you. So it's very difficult in this world, in this day and age, to be a successful home inspector. And when you think about it, how much time does it really take you to do a home inspection? So now, if you're looking at the screen now, you see a little bit of a spreadsheet where I just described all of the elements that typically go into one inspection. And again, some things are there that might be a little bit different for your services. If you might tweak it a little here or there. For example, if you do a report on site, that might make your on-site inspection time a little longer, but then you'll have not a whole lot to do at home. But everybody does have some report follow-up at home in most cases, or back at the office. Marketing, you do have to market to get every inspection. It doesn't happen overnight. So there is ongoing marketing you have to do and follow-up. And so everybody, if you think about it, every inspection that you do takes about 11 hours. For one inspection, you're spending about 11 hours per job you do. And let me just make a little digression. Let me just step off the script for a second, as it were, and talk about follow-up. I hope every one of you is either personally or has someone in your staff doing a follow-up call 1 to 2 days after the inspection, just to see how things are going with the transaction. Did they get the report successfully? Even if you delivered it on site, were they able to understand it? Did they have any questions? Did anyone else need a copy of it? You should always do that touchy-feely, concerned follow-up phone call to all the parties in the transaction. I can't tell you how many additional inspections I've been able to generate, or my company has been able to generate, from the fact that we have done the follow-up calls. And you'll hear me refer to my company periodically during this inspection because I actually am still the president and senior 203K consultant of a multi-inspector firm here in the Delaware Valley in Pennsylvania. And I stay active, involved in the home inspection business, and still climb on roofs and do inspections every day. Not as much as I used to, and I'll talk a little bit about that later on, about why with the world of 203K consulting, I don't have to get up on as many roofs anymore, and that's a great thing. But to go back to the side here, your average inspection fee is around $350 nationally. So you're basically, if you're paying $350, getting paid $350 for the home inspection, and it takes you about 10, 11 hours to do that inspection, all total time allotted, you're basically making $31.50 an hour. That's not too bad, actually. That's a whole lot higher than minimum wage by a long shot. But what if I could say to you that you could make more than that, substantially more, and do less work? That's what the world of 203K is all about. With the FHA 203K consulting, you basically have no competition. I'm going to show you something in a real quick minute about the competition situation, but I want you to understand the demand for 203K consultants is steady, if not growing. It's basically an inverse proportion to a direct proportion to the number of foreclosures, short sales, bank-owned properties, distressed homes. It's a direct proportion. As long as that inventory is high, where you're seeing homes that are distressed, utilities off, foreclosed properties, bank-owned homes, as long as you're seeing that in your marketplace, you will continue to see 203Ks being used aggressively and actively. Another important point about FHA 203K consulting, your referral source is usually not the real estate agent. You're not dealing with that person that is right now causing most of our challenges in our businesses. Your referral source in about 90% of the times as a 203K consultant are the lenders. And lenders are so much easier to work with. They don't need to be visited every week. You don't need to go into their offices and give office education trainings, which is my term for presentations. You don't have to drop by with flyers and newsletters. You have to call them. They are happy if you just do the job, get it done, help them get to closing so they can go on to the next job. A whole lot less stress. Reduced liability is one of my biggest, happiest points about being a 203K consultant, because as a 203K consultant, the liability passes from you to the contractor who's going to do the work. And I'm going to explain a little bit more about that as well. And my favorite part about the whole thing, higher fees. What are those higher fees? Well, basically, you get paid up to 7 or 8 times every time you go out, every time you are actually dealing with a property. First of all, you do your feasibility inspection. This is what is referred to typically like a home inspection. You go out to the property, you assess the condition of the home, you provide a report that gives preliminary assessment of the condition of the property and the estimate of the repairs. Then you get paid. And you get paid at the time you perform the service. After the borrower has decided that they're going to go through with the project, then they have to identify a contractor. And in some cases, you actually get paid to help them find contractors. But in the purest sense of the word, you get paid when they complete the work write-up report. And that work write-up report provides the specifics that will be used after closing by the contractor to determine what repairs are going to need to be done. So if I can basically show you what one looks like, this actually is a sample of the last page of a 203K work write-up report. And what I want to show you is the total fees that I actually earned on this project. Now, I want to let you know a couple things. This project was done a while ago, okay? And it was done back in 2012, as you can see. And back in 2012, my fee for draw inspections was $150 per inspection. Now we're up to $200. Also, the mileage has gone up to 55 cents a mile. So if you're looking at this, this is from 2012. The project was a $123,000 job. My feasibility study, which was paid to me at the time of the actual inspection, was $400. The work write-up cost is based upon the $123,000 repair amount. And so that actually was an additional $1,100 that the client paid me. After that, when they closed on the loan, I went out and did 6 draw inspections and earned $150 plus mileage every time I went out to the project. So in total, I earned $2,484 on that one property. Let me ask you this. How many home inspections would you need to do to make $2,400? And how many hours are you spending when you think about it? The typical draw inspection takes about 30 minutes. And at that point, you have basically an hour travel time, half hour there, half hour back, plus the 30 minutes that you spend at the property. So that's 1.5 hours for that. So that's 1.5 hours time, and the report is basically completed right there at the property. You get signatures from the client and you email it to the lender. So there's very little actual paperwork back at the office. So you've got 1.5 hours times 6 plus the 2 hours that you spent at the time of the original feasibility study, plus the 2 hour, plus the half hour there and half hour back. So that's another 3 hours. And here's the cool part. You don't have to go back out to the property to get this $1,100. When the contractor gives you his paperwork, all you do is replace your numbers with his, and in actuality, I have a staff that does this. I actually don't even do this, and you collect a credit card over the phone. So that actually would add, I'd say, another hour of office processing. So you're talking about 14 hours total. So if you take 2484 and divide it by 14 hours, I'm actually making, for this project, $177.42 per hour. That, to me, is a nice jump from $31.50. So this is something that I want you to see as far as the opportunities of a 203K consultant over a home inspector. And the other important thing that I like about this is, again, the liability. There is no liability. When you think about this, I said to you earlier, how many home inspections do you have to do to generate that much income? Well, if we had divided by $350, that is roughly 7 inspections, 6.9, 7 inspections that you have to do to be able to generate that kind of income. And each of those inspections comes with liability and risk of being sued. Not to mention all the additional work you have to do with every single one of those properties, as we described earlier. So we talked about the work write-up, and then there's the draw inspections, as I said, up to 6 times at a rate right now of $200 plus mileage. So this is more ways to be paid. Now this is actually a picture of the independent consultant fee schedule. I want you to see that the fees for a 203K consultant go up with the repair amount. Now, a lot of you might be saying to yourself, well, I can barely get customers happy to pay me my $300-400 for my home inspections. Why would they pay all this money for this 203K consultation? The important thing to understand with this is they have to pay it. If they don't pay, they don't get the mortgage. And so this is not, unlike a home inspection, they don't need a home inspection to buy the home. They do need this to be able to buy the property. The other important thing to pay attention to with regard to this fees for the 203K consulting services is that these fees are reimbursed to the buyer at the settlement table. They get all money that they paid you deducted off of their closing cost or as a down payment or a payment against their down payment. So you see, they're not losing anything. They're just basically paying a little bit in advance of what they would actually have to pay anyway at settlement. And the reason why they're deducted from the closing cost is because all fees that are paid to you as a consultant are added to the escrow account, added to the mortgage. Now, one of the things we teach our members in the 203K in a Box program is how to assist a customer who's running close to margin. And one of the things we suggest is that if you are concerned that you're not going to be able to run, have all these extra fees added to your mortgage, you could just pay them out of pocket and not be reimbursed. So that's always an option, but by and large, the majority of the customers are delighted to be reimbursed all the fees that they pay you at the settlement table. You can't say that about a home inspection. And as you can see, the draw fees and the mileage. One more thing I didn't point out. If you look at this screen, oops, I left the page. Let me go back. Sorry. If you look at the screen, you see where it says draw fees $200, $250, $300, or $350 with little asterisks next to it. That's because with an FHA 203K program, a borrower is allowed to put a 203K mortgage on a property that is up to a 4-family dwelling. You don't have to work harder and not be paid for it. So for every additional family dwelling in the property, you are able to charge an additional $50 to your work write-up fee, and you're able to charge an additional $50 for every draw. That means that you are going to get, in some cases, I actually had a project that had 4-family dwelling, and I got $350 per draw for a 5-draw project. I didn't do that much more work than I was doing if it was just a large home, but I got an additional $1,400 after closing to do those inspections. So again, more ways to make more money per property. Now, I've had a lot of you say to me as I've been meeting you out in the at the ASHI convention and at COA, Inspection World, and other events that I have been participating, I've had many of you ask me, well, you know, is 203K really busy? I don't have anybody asking me about it. Nobody's calling me up. Or actually now I'm getting the reverse. I'm getting people saying to me, I'm getting calls about 203K. What should I do? Well, first of all, before I go into that answering of the question of I'm getting calls, what do I do? I want to mention this. How often are people asking you about doing a car inspection? I think probably very few, because you don't have an expertise in that area, most likely, and because you don't market it. You don't have anyone, you're not telling people I'm a car inspector or I own a mechanic shop. You tell people you're a home inspector. So you're the person they ask about problems with their home, or what do I do if my roof leaks, or how long should my heater last, or this is the kind of thing that you're going to be asked, because people know you in this capacity. They don't know you in the role of a car mechanic. Well, there's something known as reticular activation. And the reticular activation is that part of your brain that once you have developed an acuity for something, you have a knowledge and understanding, your mind is now able to see it in places you never thought it was there before, and all of a sudden you're seeing it everywhere you look, hearing about it and recognizing it everywhere you look. As an example, think about the last time you purchased a car. When you bought that car, or right before you bought it, you probably thought to yourself, this is a great car. I don't see anybody with it. It's unique. I'm going to be the only one here that has this car. I'm really excited. Then, did you notice that after you bought that car and started to drive it around, everywhere you went, you saw the same car? And not only that, it actually almost saw them in the same color. You think, I'm getting a unique color, this is great, and now all of a sudden, everywhere you go, you see the same make, model, and color and year of the car you just bought. Because your mind is now so sensitive to it, it's no longer just a part of the background. You're able to pick it out instantly. I'm going to give you a little bit of a bet that as a result of this webinar and the information that you're going to be getting about the world of FHA 203K consulting, I know that you're going to start getting more information coming your way about the needs for 203K consulting in your area, and you're going to want to fill that need. Now, the other question that I did get, some questions prior to the webinar people wanted me to answer during the course of this event, and also questions that people posed to me during recent events, was people are calling me up and they're asking for an FHA inspection. Is that what 203K is? And what is the difference between being a 203K consultant and an FHA inspector, fee-paid inspector? Well, I need you to understand that the difference is this. An FHA fee-paid inspector is someone that has documented credentials in the construction industry. It's a total separate designation and much harder to get than a 203K consultant, by the way, and you get less money. The typical fee-paid inspector gets $175 to $150 per inspection that they have to do of a property, and their role is to inspect and qualify FHA assets. So these are repossessed properties, obviously not the easiest things to inspect. If you are getting, in order to get work as a fee-paid inspector, you are listed on a separate roster from the 203K consultant roster. And that list is used by the FHA asset managers, the real estate brokers or the companies who are in control of maintaining those projects, those properties. It is not the kind of person who's going to call you up out of the blue and ask you about doing a 203K. So that being about doing an FHA inspection, they're going to already know who they have to go to, and you actually will be getting most of your work directly from the government. So if you are getting an occasional phone call or maybe a frequent phone call from someone saying, I need an FHA inspection, and you are speaking to either a real estate agent, a loan officer, or a home buyer, you are talking to someone who is looking for a 203K consultation for the purpose of obtaining a mortgage. And the quickest way you can identify that is to ask the person a follow-up question when they ask you, do you do FHA inspections? A very simple question: are you looking for this inspection as part of the purchasing process of a home? And if they say yes, then this is someone who's looking for a 203K. And you need to know how to help them with that. So this is what I wanted you to understand about the differences between a fee-paid inspector and a 203K consultant. Now, the other point I want to bring up is that the FHA 203K rehab loans are thriving. They are growing, and nationally, this is the third highest yearly total. And the last 2 years, 2012 and 2011, were the highest years. This is the busiest that 203K has been, and obviously the reason is clear. It's because the market for FHA home mortgages is getting bigger because homes are in poorer and poorer condition. So this program is in fantastic shape, and there is a lot of opportunity for you as a 203K consultant. Now, people say to me, well, isn't the market turning around? My phone's ringing some more. I'm getting some little more business. I'm actually somewhat busy right now. The market's getting better. It's all well again, isn't it? And the answer is not quite yet. It's still suffering. We're still seeing high volumes of neighborhoods and communities with foreclosed homes and distressed properties. Many of you I've met talked about the fact that you're still seeing 50% of the homes you inspect are not owner-occupied homes, are not seller-occupied homes, and are in rather bad shape with missing systems and components. So as long as this is the case, the need for 203K consulting will stay viable and powerful. Now, the other thing people ask me is, well, who's out there doing it? Is there a lot of people out there doing 203Ks? I can't imagine that I'm going to be the only one out here doing it. Well, in reality, you might be surprised to find just how much the volume of opportunity exists in the world of 203K. And one of the best ways is to know where to find the 203K consultants. It's very simple. All you have to do is go to your Google page, your Google search engine, and type in 203K consultant roster. When you type that link, you want to go to the one that says entp.hud, and you just click the link. And one of the people who are on the call tonight is from West Virginia, and he asked me if I could, focus some of the information during this webinar to his state of West Virginia, and I said I would. All right, so let's go down here to West Virginia, and I'm going to look for active 203K consultants in the state of West Virginia. Well, there you have it. In the entire state of West Virginia, there are only 7 active 203K consultants. 7 in the state. How busy could you be as a home inspector if your competition was excluded to just 7 home inspectors? You would be kicking tail. So now the next question that is asked, and one of the best ways to get the answer to this question is as a member of the 203K in a Box Power Team program. As a member of 203K in a Box, we actually have an ability for you to be able to get information on a daily basis. We actually have what is known as the 203K in a Box Power Teams. And with those power teams, you're able to get information about things like, where do I find my business opportunities? This is a private members-only area in our site. And as you can see, there is a lot of information, webinars, archived coaching calls that you can have access to, and important consultant forums and marketing tools. And here is actually just a glimpse of the information. And the reason why I'm going to this page is I want to click the link for the FHA 203K lender list. So again, I'm going to go to West Virginia, and I'm just going to type in 203K consultants, and I'm going to say within 45 miles of Charleston, Charlston, I think that was, and let's see, South Charleston, and search. I might have the wrong city. Okay, so I have the wrong city. Okay, So let's just search for the entire state of West Virginia. Okay, so now what you see here are 6 lenders in, I must have spelled Charleston wrong, because there you can see Flagstar Bank. There are 6 lenders who have offices in West Virginia for 203K, that do 203K mortgages. Now, what I want you to understand is, you might say, well, that's not a lot of business. These are the companies that are writing the mortgages, that are funding the loans in West Virginia, and have offices in West Virginia. The question you want to ask is, who is actually brokering mortgages in West Virginia? And the best way to find that is by just going to Google and searching in your Google search bar. Again, typing in your Google search bar. Whoops, went to the wrong page. 203K loan brokers in Charleston, West Virginia. So now I type that into my search engine, and there you can see all the different brokerages in West Virginia. There's not just one, there's a ton. And here you can see West Virginia mortgage brokers. And then this is American Financial Resources. This is one company. This is a specific company. But every single one of these is a list of West Virginia mortgage brokers that actually originate and actually can write the loans for the FHA 203K. So you can see there's a whole lot of mortgage brokers in West Virginia who are writing the 203K mortgage. And what they're doing is, once they actually are selling these loans, they're actually getting a buyer, they're selling the mortgages to one of these actual third-party lenders who actually hold the paper, as it were, and that's where the draws are paid to. So you see, there is a lot of business and opportunities in the world of FHA 203K, and it's growing all the time. People are advertising about 203K. Everyone is looking to understand more and more about why they should be wanting to be involved in the 203K loan program. And this is important for you because you have the skills and the knowledge. And so that's the question I want to share with you right now. I want to talk to you right now about why you are the person who I am discussing the world of 203K with. Well, before we do that, I want to go into a little bit of information about what a 203K mortgage is. And, oops, I clicked it too fast. It's the same as a 203B, the FHA mortgage that you typically hear buyers are working with. Only difference is all the repairs are able to be added after closing. And the borrower, the home buyer, we call them borrowers because many of our clients are actually homeowners refinancing their mortgage, not just persons buying their home, the new home. They're people refinancing their mortgages and making their home amazingly better. These people can borrow up to 110% of the after repaired value. What that means is they're allowed to increase and go above what the appraised value is, because the government knows that it costs more to fix something than it was to have it right in the first place, and because of the requirement that there be a contingency. You see, a few slides back, I actually showed you a sample of a 203K project. And in the work write-up, I showed you the actual contingency reserve. So as you can see here, there was a $12,376.80 contingency, which covered unforeseen problems that might arise after closing on the mortgage, because you can't remortgage a property. You can't get a new mortgage. Once you go to closing, whatever is in that escrow account is all that you have to spend. And so for that reason, the 203K consultant has discretion of raising that contingency up to as much as 20% of the repair amount. For me, $12,000 was more than enough, and in actuality, we did not use all this money, and the customer applied about $8,000 of this back against their principal, and then several months later, they refinanced and got an even better rate. Most times, people will just simply use the money to do other non-specified repairs. And in the 203K in a Box consultant training and coaching program, we teach you all of these nuances so you're able to satisfy your customer both before and after the settlement takes place. But that is where the liability goes away, because with that process of having a contingency that covers unforeseen problems and addresses what those costs will need to be, your borrower doesn't come to you to ask you to fix things or pay to fix things. And for that reason, because there's a minimum of 10% contingency added to the repair amount, that is why FHA allows a borrower to increase their coverage up to 10%. So now, let's go on. Why are you the person who should be doing these? We are the best at identifying defect recognition, identification, and explanation. It's what we do every day. And it's for this reason why 203K consultants are now being sought from the home inspection industry as opposed to just anybody. Because as you can see, the FHA consultant assists the borrower in determining what they're going to do, works with them to do the documentation of the repairs, and then follows that, does inspections to confirm that the repairs are being done correctly. All things that you as a home inspector have an enormous amount of experience doing and have a great comfort level. And this is why home inspectors make the best 203K consultants. We are in the best position to help those buyers understand the world of 203K consulting. So now when I talk to you about the world of 203K consulting, I have been talking to you from the perspective of something that you can add to increase your business opportunities. Let me also point out to you that the 203K consulting business is a great tool to allow you to actually transition into less work, maybe as a retirement income, as an opportunity to lower the amount of work you do, not increase. Look here. This actually is a breakdown of what I personally did in my company last year. You see, I travel the country. I'm writing books. I'm working on my second book is out. I'm working on a third book now. My second book is out. I'm traveling the country, training, teaching, working at FHA. I'm actually on the FHA advisory board, so I'm in Washington, D.C. I'm all over, as many of you know. But I still want to keep my finger in the pie, as it were, so I can stay current with all the changes and innovations in this industry. So I do 203K consulting part-time. So last year, I did about 18 jobs a month. I'm really only in town about 2 weeks a month, basically. So I'm doing about 10 initial feasibility inspections, which is $400 each, as we showed. And I'm also doing 5 streamlined 203K consultations. People who are wanting me to tell them if they feel that they will be successful to be able to use the 203K streamlined process or not. And again, a great added income stream for you to be able to market to your real estate agents as the only person they should use if they're working with an FHA buyer. I do seller pre-listing 203K evaluations, a great tool. And I don't have time to go into that today. And actually, I'm going to be planning a future webinar where I talk about the benefits of the 203K pre-evaluation for the benefit of helping a seller sell their home faster with less headaches and for the most amount of money they can possibly get. And of those 10 203K feasibility and 5 streamlines I do a month, I'm actually completing 8 work write-ups. And as I said, a work write-up, I don't have to go back out to the property. My staff completes it, and on average, the rehab amounts for the 203K is $38,000. So on a $38,000 rehab, I'm making $350 per write-up. And as you can see, that adds up to $2,800. And remember, as I said, I'm not even going out to this property. My staff is completing this report based upon the contractor's estimate information provided. Draw inspections, I do about 20 draws a month. I'm only in town, again, a couple weeks a month. And so what that means is 1 day a week I do draw inspections. It's the same day usually each week, and anyone who wants a draw has to make sure that they are ready to come out for me to come out to the property to do it. So if I have 20 projects, and actually I had more like 30 last year, toward the beginning, and I scaled back on jobs because I was getting so busy. So if you have 20 draws a month, that's about 5 a week. I can do 5 draws in about 5 hours. if I gauge them correctly and coordinate them and organize them so the travel from one to the next, I can get 5 draws done in 5 to 6 hours. And so that's only 6 hours I'm spending with so little work. And when you do a draw inspection, like a 203K consultation, you typically are taking the tools of a flashlight and a camera. Maybe an outlet tester, maybe on the final draw you're taking your carbon monoxide and combustion detection meter for checking the heater. Maybe you're climbing up on the roof to check something at the chimney, but in most cases you're not having to do any of that hard work at all. You're just walking around with your flashlight and your camera, validating that the contractor did the work he said he was going to do. So, on average, each month last year, as a part-time business for me, I was able to earn $13,325, or annually, and again, this is just for me. This didn't include anybody else, and I only worked about 10 months. About 2 months out of the year, I'm actually not even working. I'm actually traveling or doing other things. So that's about a 10-month income. I made $132,250 only working about 4 days a week. That's a lot of nice money for just 4 days a week, and it can equate to a great retirement income or a phasing out of your home inspection income where you're letting someone else do the hard inspections and you cherry pick and do the 203Ks. This is a great income opportunity to help you. So now, does this sound interesting to you? I do have a lot of questions of people who are coming up and asking me questions. Whoops, let me go. Whoops, I got to go back to the slideshow. Forgive me, the screen froze. And there's always some sort of technical difficulty whenever you're dealing with the internet. I apologize. So I'm going to basically just go right to the slide that I was trying to get to. I apologize for the technical difficulty. Okay, so back to where we were. Does this sound interesting to you? I am getting a lot of questions that people are asking me, and they're fantastic questions, and I will be answering all of them in an upcoming email. I do want you to know. One of the questions was, what are the qualifications for being a 203K consultant? And maybe I didn't emphasize this enough. If you are on this call today and you have been a home inspector for 3 or more years, or you have 3 or more years combined home inspection and construction background, you are qualified to be a 203K consultant right now. And that's why many of you were invited to this call, because we had already pre-screened you at the live events that we participated. You must be licensed in your state if licensure is a requirement in your state or the state that you want to do 203K consulting. But if your state does not have licensure, or there's an adjoining state that does not have licensure, you actually can cross that state and do 203Ks in that state. So how do you get to be a certified 203K consultant? A lot of you had come up to me. Several had said that they tried to get certified, they got rejected, didn't know what they did wrong. And that's because the government doesn't tell you how to do it. They just tell you if you want to do it, you got to come to them and with the right documentation. But they don't tell you what you need to know to do it, because they feel if you don't already know it, we're not going to try to tell you. Where do you get the business? I've already shown you a couple of the links that can actually give you some resources, and we have so many more in the 203K in the Box Consultant Training and Mentoring Program. Every month we have webinars, and we train and assist and guide you, both private one-on-one coachings and group coachings, where you actually get the information. How do you market yourself? What do you do to generate business? Well, you don't have to do a lot of marketing, I can tell you that, because you're dealing with real estate lenders who are currently dying for you. As you saw just from the state of West Virginia, with only 7 consultants, and probably many of those are not even active, they're struggling to find consultants in areas to do the work. Where do you get the forms, the software that creates and generates the projects that I described and showed you on that screen? The software that we actually we provide you as a resource is so fantastic and easy to use. It's a one-click program that will make it so simple for you to be able to create the necessary reports that are government required. You can't use your regular home inspection report to create the documents. How do you know what to charge for repairs or estimating? This is the biggest question people have asked me. Well, I don't know how to estimate. On my home inspections, I don't have to give cost estimating. We provide that for you. As part of the 203K in a Box coaching program, one of the things that we do provide you is information on how to cost estimate and how to be able to generate the information on contractors and how to report and describe the programs and conditions that you're defining. And where do you get the contractors that you're going to work with? All this we provide you in the 203K in a Box FHA consultant training and mentoring system. The first thing we do is we want to get you started right away with the 203K in a Box home study course. This training manual is complete and gives you all the information and tools you need for certification. Everything that you need to understand exactly what you need to do is comprised in 4 DVDs, video DVDs, and 7 audio CDs. Because we believe in automobile education, this is a great way for you to be able to reinforce what you're learning from the videos by listening to it as you're driving around day to day. So we provide you with the 203K Data Discovery Home Study course. But wait, there's more, okay? The next thing we provide you is the 203K in a Box Quick Start package. This Quick Start system is total and complete with everything that you need to be a successful 203K consultant. We provide you with actual forms and information and documentation that will help you be able to be successful with your 203K process. Let me just give you a little brief sample of what you get in the 203K in a Box FHA consultant training system. What we provide you is everything that you need. And as you can see here, I want to open up this page here. This is just an example of the volumes that you receive, and in each of these volumes is jam-packed with information that you use in your 203K business. We provide you with the training manual, the Quick Start training tools, which include all the HUD mortgagee letters and handbooks, a knowledge assessment test that you take to identify that you've learned the skills that you need to be able to be a successful 203K consultant, the certification affidavits, the resume that you need, the knowledge, the narrative, the cover letter. Everything is canned and it's basically pre-printed, so all you have to do is customize it to meet your own personal information. Everything is pretty much done for you, and this makes it so much easier for you to be able to be successful in your world as a 203K consultant. The next thing we provide you is marketing tools and strategies to get you listed with the top lenders in your areas. Every month, as a member of the 203K in a Box mentoring and coaching program, you will receive marketing pieces ready for you to just drop your logo and phone number and print and give out to real estate agents and lenders as you need to. But I promise you, you may not even need to do that, because once you get on the roster and send out a press release, of which we give you the sample of also, your phone will start ringing instantly. You'll be wondering how it happened so quickly. PowerPoint presentations for audiences of buyers and sellers for the pre-listing. Working with the contractor training information. We give you an entire presentation that you can use to teach contractors how to do 203K successfully. Cost estimating guides and spreadsheets so that there's no anxiety about getting those costs for producing your feasibility study. And just as a tidbit and aside, the costs that you use in your preliminary feasibility study report are only for discussion purposes only. The real number is the number that comes from the contractor. So you never have to be worried about those numbers. They're only to help the borrower determine whether or not it's feasible to move forward. Lender presentations, a DVD of me doing a home inspection that actually ended up being a 203K at the end, and one-on-one coaching with me. The next thing that we provide you, again, but wait, there's more, is the 203K in a Box Elite bonuses. We give you quarterly office education training presentations to educate those real estate agents in your area who don't know about the 203K program. These are customizable and free for you to use in your marketplace. And as an incredible added bonus, something that's worth over $3,000 just by itself, 16 hours of continuing education CEU training courses. 3 courses, and a matter of fact, I'm working on a 4th that we'll be making available at no additional cost to all of our members. Right now, it's 16 hours of continuing education courses on 203K, energy efficient mortgages, and the home inspection industry. I couldn't begin to share in just the 1 hour time frame that we have all the benefits of these government programs and how knowing them and understanding them and being able to suggest them to your buyer market will help your real estate agents love you so much more, because you will no longer be the deal killer, you'll be the deal maker. And as a special added bonus, we're providing you with a DVD of me doing a live 203K feasibility inspection. You see, I can't come walk with you and stand with you as you go out and do your first 203K consultation. When you first became a home inspector, you probably went out with someone or had someone mentor with you, and you followed them around to see what to say, what to do, in what order, how to do it. Well, I can't be there for all of you. So I recorded myself doing it live and created the supporting reports so you actually can see what the output is of me doing this live feasibility. And just like I've said before, the total value of this entire system, the home study course, which is a $397 value by itself, the quick start package, and the elite bonuses, the total cost for all of this is over $10,000 in valuable tools. But we're not charging you $10,000. We're giving you something in addition to all that. We're also going to provide you with, the corporate niche rehab reporter software, because you can't do the program without the specialized software. So we're going to give you this software, a $559 retail value if you were to buy it alone. And in addition to that, we're going to give you membership, complimentary, in the newly formed National Association of FHA Consultants, of which I am the executive director. Trust me, the NAFAC is going to be the name to know when it comes to qualifying and selecting and using a 203K consultant, and you will be getting in on the ground floor. One of the other additional bonuses that we provide for all of our members as a special added gift is we actually will create for you a 203K website page that you actually can link onto your website and be able to get done be able to have it done for you with your logo dropped in. But we don't stop there. We actually have one more additional bonus for you on top of everything that you've just heard. We actually will be giving you our newest system, the FHA Minimum Property Standards Reporting System. This is a standalone system that actually will create a minimum property standards report, a checklist form in PDF format that you actually can give to your FHA buyers so that they can understand what is going to be the process that they need to work on with regard to completing that FHA purchase. You can give it as a free option, as a value-added option on your home inspections for your FHA customers, or as an upsell for anywhere from $50 to $150, $200 more on top of your existing home inspection fees. But the point is, you're going to get this entire system with unlimited use, no limitations whatsoever, and you also get free upgrades for the next 12 months on this system at no additional cost. And all this is going to be yours as a 203K in a box member, and for a special discounted investment of only $15.99 or 3 installments of $547. And this information again is going to be given to you both in internet PDF format, electronically delivered format, as well as you will get a huge box with other extra bonuses. For example, we're going to be giving you information and tools on how to take over a 203K project when a client is firing their existing consultant. What to do from start to finish. What are the minimum property standards that I need to know to be a 203K consultant? And as an added bonus, as a guarantee, all of our 203K served packages come with a full 91-day money-back guarantee on all training and support, plus the extra bonus that I just described. Your 203K consulting future begins now with the 203K Day of Discovery Home Study Course, the 203K Elite Consultant Package, and the 203K in a Box FHA Minimum Property Standards Reporting System. You will be the only person anyone will want to call to be able to use the exciting and lucrative world of 203K. This is the limited time offer, but I have a special challenge for you. I want you to look into the 203K business. So do me a favor and do yourself a favor. Call some lenders that you know. I know many of you out there know loan officers. You've been in the business long enough. And ask them this question. If I were a 203K consultant, do you feel that there is a business opportunity that we could be taking advantage of? Take the 203K challenge and you will see that this is going to be something you will be surprised you weren't doing ahead of time. And here's what you're going to hear. People are going to say to you, are you certified? Because if you are, we can start right now. I have consultants who are in the process of completing their certification, and the time it takes to get certified can be as little, believe it or not, as 2 weeks. And their loan officers are literally waiting with deals to be able to give to them to do. So the cost of less than one 203K project is yours. Sign up now at 203kinabox.com/elite system. Are you ready to take your business to the next level? The choice is yours. Some say opportunity knocks only once. That's not true. Opportunity knocks all the time, but you need to be ready for it. If the chance comes, you must have the equipment to take advantage of it. Don't lose out on this opportunity. Strike while the iron is hot. Get this last piece of your financial success puzzle with the FHA 203K in a Box system. I want to thank you all so much for joining us today on this webinar. We have just about 1 minute left on the call, and so there's just couple of questions I'll be able to answer for you. Real briefly, the question was, if I want more information, is there any way I can talk to you personally? Absolutely. If you'd like, please call my office and schedule a private 15-minute call with me. Our number is 215-886. I'm sorry, that's my home number about to give you. Our number, it's a little late at night, isn't it? Our number is 877-869-4440. Please don't hesitate to reach out to us. You can visit us on the web at www.203kinabox.com. We are here for you. I want to thank you so much for being on the call today. It has been my pleasure to help bring you closer to the world of FHA 203K consulting. Until I'm able to support you in the future, be outstanding. Good night.